Mitoma, and a brilliant finish out of the top drawer.
Hello and welcome to the Brighton Hove Albion Manchester City match reaction. I'm joined by Maz. We've got no Jack because he's in the office. He's not jobless like me and Maz today, unfortunately. But at least this podcast will be a little bit shorter because he won't be rattling on for too long. But Maz, you did go to your first game of the season. Unfortunately, you had to miss the first one. But what was the atmosphere like? Because there's been a lot of tweets saying that was an unbelievable atmosphere, and the limbs, obviously, for our last-minute goal were incredible. The camera shake was amazing, and we got some. We actually got some decent shouts from other fans saying that we've actually got limbs and we're not as bad as everyone thinks we are.
Yeah, no, genuinely, it was really good atmosphere in the Amex. Do you know what I was really shocked about was how bad City was? And actually, funny enough, I was speaking to a City fan who's on the overlap, Luke. He's quite a big City fan, and he was saying basically like the reason why he was like, first of all, it's Brighton. I was like, oh, okay, here we go. And he's basically saying like they don't turn up. And also, and to be fair, he had a few points. It's on a Sunday, so it was like difficult for them to travel down. And apparently, there's like not many trains from Euston after. And it's like apparently on a Sunday, it's just a long away day for them, and that's why apparently they were not very good. Which we'll leave it up to that. But yeah, talking about
use similar excuses when they go to Wembley and don't sell out Wembley in the semis, though, don't they? But that just shows how much of a small club they actually are, because they don't have enough fans to fill the seats and what that actually want to go and want to sing. Like the bigger clubs go no matter what time it is or what day of the week it is, they'll come and they'll be unbelievable. So City just aren't at that level yet, are they?
Yeah, I genuinely heard two chants throughout the whole game when they scored, and then I think one at some random interval. But anyway, we're not here to talk about how bad Man City support was. We're here to talk about how good Brighton's was. And it was great. It was good atmosphere. Obviously, first half it was tough to sort of get behind the team just because of how sort of lethargic we looked and a bit out of it we looked. So it was tough to back the team then. But then, obviously, once we then started creating chances in the second half, and obviously when the goal went in, it was absolute limbs. Like, me and the boys were like, just like, the moment where you just turn around to randomers and start grabbing randomers. It was one of them ones. I literally turned around, two blokes, I just grabbed them. I was like, it was sick. Yeah, it was proper good. And it was nice to see the Amex rocking and having a good atmosphere, and I think that's how it should be every home game. And we are actually getting much better. I think that's one thing to note. We are getting much better than maybe a couple of seasons ago, even from then to now. So it was great, good atmosphere, loved it.
Do you enjoy it? So where you're sitting now, because obviously people don't know Maz got a season ticket. Where you're sitting now, is that where you normally sit when you do go, or is it somewhere else?
Yeah, same place. So literally just behind Hrzler, like the dugout. So like 3-4 rows behind.
Assistant manager.
Yeah, I'm there screaming. Yeah, just to the left. So West Lower, just to the left behind Hrzler's dugout. So great seats.
And then behind you is our set piece coach, because where is he as well? Because we can talk about that, because the set pieces have been. Oh my God, what's that?
Ben's got a fire alarm. What is going on?
Oh no, this is not good. Oh, Maz, you're gonna have to quickly stop the pod. Apologies for the fire alarm. I'm guessing the Brighton set piece coach is listening to us and is trying to stop me from slandering him online, but you're not going to stop me today, mate, because, the beginning of the season has been pretty woeful, and every time we get a corner or anything, there's no hope for me. So much so that before the penalty, I know we'll get into it, I was watching on the train home from Leeds, and I was literally falling asleep and trying to stay awake. I saw we got a free kick. I thought, I'll just close my eyes for 10 seconds. I woke up and Milner was stepping up to take a penalty. I was like, what the hell has just happened? That's how little faith I have in our set pieces at the moment. But hopefully they'll be able to fix that up. But Maz, obviously, you went to the game, first day as a season ticket holder. You look at the lineup and what you're thinking, because Ayari's dropped. Veltman's in because of a Weaver injury, which is concerning, seeing as we just let go Lamptey as well on deadline day. So our right back option in Weaver, Veltman comes in, which I guess we would have wanted anyway. It's kind of a blessing in disguise. But what did you make of the starting lineup?
Yeah, it was a weird one. Again, the Weaver mystery injury. It's like every week it's just the same, and it's actually getting a bit like, it's beyond funny now. I'm a bit like, what is going on? Like, why are we just randomly getting an injury every time before a game? So it was a strange one to see Weaver not even in the squad. Don't know how long he's out for, or if he's going to be out for a long time. I don't think it's been clarified yet. Gomez in behind. Looked like Gomez was in behind Welbeck, like in the number 10. Again, O'Reilly on the bench, Gruda on the bench. I was just like, what? Like, why is either not O'Reilly or Gruda starting? So yeah,
Nor the group lads either.
Yeah, yes, no Simas, no is it Harampolis? I think someone told me to pronounce it as. So yeah, it was a real weird one in terms of the starting lineup and the bench. But yeah, Veltman was good to see. That was at least a positive. Seeing him back in the back four. So yeah, going into the game, I was a bit like, I wasn't 100% sure. And then I suppose the first half really did sum that up. It was a pretty poor first half, pretty lethargic. I mean, I've even got the stats here. It's pretty damning, to be honest. First half, right? Expected goals, Man City 1.35 to our 0.05. 0.005.
Which probably came from our only shot on target from Matoma.
Well, Matoma.
Our only shot on goal, was it? Yeah.
Yeah. Then ball possession, 64% to our 36. 7 shots to our 1. 3 shots on target to our 1. Big chances 2. Corner kicks 1-1, and they had 87% of pass completion rate to our 72%. So I think that's
looking awful. The passes were looking awful. I remember Van Hector booted one out of play. I think a few of there were so many stray passes. I was like, we are so cooked this season. Look,
honestly,
I was watching that first half thinking, God, how are we going to come out of this?
Honestly, that was the first thing we were saying. We were like, we just can't string 2 passes together. Like, it was just so. We weren't doing the basics. We didn't have the work rate. We didn't have the energy. It just felt really flat. It felt really lethargic. It felt very unlike a Brighton side that you're used to in the last, 3 to 4 years, or maybe even beyond that. And it just felt really, really strange. And I think that's when a few people murmuring like, oh, Hrzler's got this wrong. He doesn't know what he's doing. Is he coaching the players in the right way, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, and obviously we know how it panned out in the end. But yeah, that first half was just really tough to watch. And I think, even you look at players like Carlos Baleba, I think he's really struggled in these first 3 games. He's been so far off it. And I don't know whether that's the Manchester United links, if that's really affecting him, whether it's fitness issues, wherever it is, he's just been really off it. And there was a few players that I just thought struggled in that first half especially. And we saw that with the full changes in the second half.
I was actually going to get onto the Baleba bit and ask you that exact question. Do you think it is more the fitness thing? Because he didn't play too much of a part in pre-season, but then obviously he had this transfer looming over him for months and months. So surely that would affect him anyway. But do you think it is more fitness rather than the transfers, or is it a mixture of both, do you think?
Yeah, I think with Carlos, it's a tough one because like you say, he missed pre-season. He missed a big chunk of that. And then he did get, against Everton, for example, got hooked at half-time apparently for tactical reasons. And then he had a poor game against City. It wasn't great in the first game either against Fulham. So, yeah, it's a real tough one to put it down to what it is. I think it's a combination of things. I think it's the fitness issues plus the links to Man United, I think just hasn't helped. And I know Hrzler had done a sit-down interview with Sky and did talk about Baleba and like his difficulties. And I think he did put it down to all the noise around him. All the noise around the transfer, and I think that's really affected him negatively. So, yeah, I think it's majority the noise, the transfer noise, but also fitness probably hasn't helped him in any shape or form.
Thing is, though, if the noise is affecting him, does that mean it's because he probably wanted to go? Because if he didn't want to go, why would the noise affect him? Do you know what I mean?
No, I think it would, but a club like Manchester United, as much as we hate to admit it, they're a massive club. You're a young guy, you're a young boy, you're 21 years of age. And you're getting all this chatter about you, and probably in the first time in his career that he's had that kind of volume of chat around him, all that media attention. I think it is going to affect you negatively. And yeah, he might be a really strong, strong-minded, but at the same time, when you've got so much chatter around your name about whether you're going to leave or not, and probably internally as well, probably the boys, some are jibing him, going, "Oh, you're going to United, mate. You're going to United." You never know, like behind the scenes, they might be bantering him or whatever, and chatting about it in the changing room for all we know. So yeah, I think it's a lot to take for such a young player. It's a lot of noise and yeah, a lot of links, I suppose.
No, I do agree. I think people obviously also probably will be going next summer, but hopefully he's been looking at their recent results and thinking, God, I'm glad I didn't join this season, because surely he wouldn't have been watching that Grimsby result and thinking, I wish I joined that club right now. Obviously then, yeah, he did get hooked at half time. We'll stick on to the first half. Matoma's chance, like we said, is probably our only good chance of the game. And then, yeah, Haaland's goal comes out of kind of what felt like nowhere, even though they probably did deserve it on paper. Oh, you've gone. Hello, we're back again. Fire alarms, connection issues, but we will try and get through this. Maybe Jack is our lucky charm, Maz. Maybe he is.
Maybe.
Maybe. But we were talking about chances in the first half because there weren't too many. I did mention Erling Haaland's goal kind of felt like it was against run and play, but also probably deserved. I guess when you read out the stats that Maz has just read out. Maz, you did say Haaland did have another chance, but for a Verbruggen save, right?
Yeah, 1-on-1. He went through 1-on-1. I thought it was guaranteed for him to score, but somehow he missed it. So that was good for us. And obviously, the Matoma chance for us, again, I thought it was a fantastic save from Trafford. Really, really good save. His shot stopping, like even that save in the second half as well, was unreal. And do you know what? I feel quite bad for Trafford. Obviously, Donnarumma's now gone into City, and it's just like, you've just signed him.
What's a guy got to do?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And he had a really good game against us, to be fair to him. Like I said, 2 really big saves. Obviously, couldn't really do much. Couldn't do anything about the penalty. And the Gruda one, obviously, he did get sat down, didn't he? But I thought it was quite harsh that Donnarumma's now come in to replace him essentially. Not our issue. But good save from Matoma, and a poor finish from Haaland, I suppose, for that one chance. And then the goal was a bit scrappy. It was just a bit like just typical.
Marmoush nutmegs maybe Van Heck or dunk, I think. Then the ball just suddenly comes through, and you think Erling Haaland just outside the 6-yard box. There's only one result, and he gets his 88th Premier League goal in 100 appearances. That guy's a machine. Even when he looks out of form, even when City are out of form, that he still gets it going. That's just like the quality of the number 9 that they've got. He's just an absolute machine. There's no real way of describing him.
When you see him right in the flesh, he's an absolute
it's a Viking.
He just, you just look at me like, you, sir, are like 6'5", whatever you are. You're built like an absolute unit, and you're pretty good at putting the ball in the back of the net. And it's like, it's just not fair, really, is it? But he took his chance, fair play to him. But I just thought it was poor from us. It was just like, just very, again, lethargic, lazy. Didn't really just get the ball out, boys. Do the basics right. We just didn't do it. And like you said, it was a poacher's finish. And they went into the half 1-0 up.
Yeah, I guess it kind of probably deserved. But and then we see big changes in the second half. 4 substitutions, and we have normally criticised Hrzler for his substitutions, but this time he got them all bang on. Even James Milner coming on and making a big difference with the penalty. But do you think? Well, Pep Guardiola said that they forgot to play after we scored from the penalty spot. Do you think that is down to them just being poor, or was that because of the changes that Hrzler made, do you think?
I mean, I think definitely a combination of both. Like, again, not to be sort of stats merchant, but they maintain the same kind of level of possession, but in terms of sort of our big chances, attacking threat, that did change in the second half. So I don't know if you want to put it down to them being poor, but I think the changes were huge. That was such a significant, and I said it. I said it to someone the other day. It was a very ballsy move from Hrzler to do 4 substitutions at once. That takes a lot of balls, and the players that he took off as well: Baleba, Hinshelwood, Welbeck, Gomez. It was all in the attacking, or in the top half of the pitch. So he clearly wanted to make a statement saying, it's not working. The players that haven't obviously offered what he wanted to. Again, Baleba coming off. Hinshelwood, I actually thought had a pretty good game.
It's good to see him back.
Great to see him back. Obviously, been out for a while, so great to see him back. He actually played quite well, I thought. But then Welbeck and Gomez was an interesting one, because I just felt like they had no cohesion. I think there was one moment where I remember they linked up quite well, and I was like, and I think I was in this just before they got taken off. And I was like, that's the first time in the game they've actually linked up. And it was just very bizarre to me that we had Gruda and O'Reilly on the bench, and neither of them started. It was just very, very baffling to me. So could you look at it as like, right, Hrzler got it wrong from the beginning, so we could potentially have been, even more comfortable winners? Or do you look at it on the front of, oh, fair play, he's made 4 really good substitutions, he's changed the game? I suppose it's how you want to look at it.
I'd like to think that this was all part of his master plan. Like, we all thought Gruda was going to be starting that game, and he doesn't, after obviously an unbelievable performance he had midweek. But then it's just like, obviously we needed a massive injection of creativity and just a bit more oomph. And those were the substitutions that were going to do that. And they absolutely smashed City as soon as they came on, especially Gruda. So it's almost like Gruda was too good to start, weirdly, and he thought he's probably going to be so much better once City get a little bit tired. Bring the lad that's got bags of confidence on in that sort of minute and run him ragged, in which obviously he did do. But when then we got before we say that, we obviously got the penalty. No real arguments there with that one, to be honest. It's pretty much a blatant handball. And then James Milner steps up and take it. Like, what was the atmosphere like when he grabbed the ball? And everyone must have been going like, "Oh no, oh no."
Well, I don't know if you've seen Brett Mendoza shared a picture of a picture of, like, it was about a good section of the fans, all with their heads on their their hands on their heads.
Yeah,
and apparently that was the moment when everyone realised it was Milner. I don't know if I don't know if Brett was just having a bit of fun with it.
I think
I'm not. Yeah, I'm sort of doubting the validity of that. But if that is real, then I mean that sums up how people felt. I think there was a lot of surprise, a lot of shock in the stadium. But someone made a good point. He was a regular penalty taker for Liverpool ahead of Mo Salah, who's their now regular taker. So, yeah, I mean, he's obviously got the experience for it. And it was quite funny, actually. I remember Hrzler saying he got questioned about penalty takers, remember, at the beginning of the season. And he goes, let's see what happens, kind of thing. And we've had 3 different penalty takers. So, obviously, Welbeck's missed one. O'Reilly scored. And now Milner scored as well. So, yeah, obviously, with O'Reilly now leaving the club, which we're going to get onto, it looks like it's just between, I suppose, Milner, if he's on the pitch, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Not
be
Maxime de Kuyper, who jacked Huddlestone to put in FBL because he'll be taking pens. That would have been ideal, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Jack's in the know as just whoever the heck that bloke is. Loves to have him on the pod. Heinz and Mayo, sorry.
Ketchup. Yeah, Heinz and Mayo is his sources. But yeah, it was everyone was quite like a bit taken aback just because, it's James Milner, quite funny. But no, he slotted away really coolly. Like, he was with all that experience you've got, like you don't really expect anything less from him, really. So he stepped up, looked really confident, obviously dispatched it really well, and a beautiful celebration as well in honour of
gets a special moment.
Diogo. Yeah, a very special moment. It was do you know what? Genuinely, at first, I was like, oh my God, he's done the Haaland. Because obviously where I'm sat, I can only see the back of him. So he sat like doing that kind of thing with his arms. And I'm like, oh my God, he's done the Haaland. He's done the Haaland. Just because obviously Haaland was having a bit of a thing with Dunkey and Van Heck throughout the game.
Mm.
Yeah. And it was actually a really good moment, actually. I don't know if you've seen Dunkey was actually speaking to Haaland during the penalty. And as soon as we've scored it, he smiled and ran away and celebrated, which was quite a nice moment. But yeah.
I'd love to know what they're talking about as well, those two, because I saw Haaland had a bit of beef with Van Heck a few times, and Van Heck was winding him up. So then Dunk was
and even Veltman as well. Veltman was winding him up as well, which is standard Veltman.
Yeah,
he was having a word with him.
That was
it's interesting to know.
There's a brilliant video of him, like the slow motion, just looking at him and going like running off. Like, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's really good. But yeah, no, really great moment.
For Dunk to do that, by the way, Maz. Like, because obviously, who's to say that City weren't going to end up winning that game as well with the class they've got? So to have the confidence to stare in Haaland's face, who was probably anyone's bet was that he was probably going to score again and maybe give it back to Dunk. So yeah, fair play to Dunkey, because it definitely paid off.
Dunkey probably knew something we didn't. He was like, you ain't scoring again, mate. I'll give it some. But no, beautiful moment. And it really, talk about the crowd and the atmosphere. I think from that moment onwards, we're like, right, this, we can do this now. And like you said, we had so much more energy. Gruda gave us that attacking outlet. He just run the ability to run at players, make them, you saw for the goal, how he can sit players down. His agility is unbelievable. His dribbling is fantastic. He's just a really exciting player. I think Jack mentioned it in the last podcast. He's one of those players that runs at you, and you feel uncomfortable when he's coming at you, and he picks up the ball and wants to do something with it. He actually wants to create stuff. He doesn't want to just keep passing it backwards or try and be slow in build up. So yeah, it was nice to see. From when those players came on, it just gave us so much more energy. Rutter, Gruda, them two linked up really well. We saw for the first time Minter, Gruda, Matoma, and Rutter. Have I said those players? Yeah, all linking up for the first time in the game.
So I was like, which ones he said?
Rutter, Gruda, I'm confused myself. But anyway, the front four.
Rutter, Gruda, Minter, Matoma. All too similar.
Yeah, there you go. And just the way they linked up was actually, for the first time in the game, they were all actually connected. I think there's one moment as well where we broke away. There was a big breakaway, and Matoma carried the ball and then laid it off to Gruda, and Gruda then laid it off to Minter. And it was for the first time, it looked cohesive rather than disjointed in the first half. We looked really disjointed. I think that was the key difference when the 4 came in. It just looked much more cohesion and much more clarity going forwards, which we obviously then saw. And also, actually, let's talk about Minter, because Minter, wow, like, he obviously got man of the match, but he was fantastic all afternoon. Literally from the get-go, even in the first half, he was the one tracking back. His work rate is second to none. Going forward, he was causing a few problems. He kept Ait Nouri so quiet, because obviously he's very much an attacking outlet for City. And yeah, I just want a big shout out to Yankuba Minter, because he was absolutely unbelievable. He doesn't get the credit maybe for that win, because obviously he wasn't really involved in much of it. But
it's a shame that he hasn't bagged yet, because obviously against Fulham, I think he got mixed reviews. Everton, he was probably our only threat, our only real threat. Everything was kind of going through him. So to then get the man of the match performance against City is great. So hopefully he will start bagging some goals, because there's definitely, if he starts doing that, then we're going to be cooking. It's just mental how much like one result does change your whole aspect of the season. Thinking you've gone from Fulham, Everton, relegation candidates to being City, and we are so back.
Well, Ben, you say that. Let's be real. If we'd gone into the international break with 1 point out of 9, or let's say we drew against City, 2 points out of 9, mate, there'll be people saying Hrzler out. You know, he doesn't know what he's doing. This is a joke. Rah, and it could have been really toxic. So it just shows you how one win can really change things around for you, especially early on in the season as well. And it bumps off the online relegation zone to.
If we were in and around the relegation zone for the 10 days or whatever the international break is before we get go away against Bournemouth, the meltdown on Twitter would have been horrendous. So thank God. Thank God.
And especially, you mentioned Bournemouth as well, like, who are doing really well themselves. Like, imagine the anxiety or like the dread going into that game. And it really would have put the pressure on Hrzler. And, you know, I suppose sometimes we've seen him, you know, come back from, like, remember last season after that 7-0 defeat, he came back stronger. We went on a good little run. So it might have been like a catalyst maybe for him to be like, right, I've got 1 or 2 points out of 9 here. I need to sort this out and I really need to change things. So, but hopefully now it gives us that break to really get everything together. Simas hopefully gets up to speed. You know, even Costulas, you know, Watson. We can have a better squad depth on the bench going forward. And then Gruda hopefully starts against Bournemouth. And then maybe we'll see Rutter up top with him, because I thought they linked up quite well.
What do you reckon? Because obviously we were so against Rutter ever playing number 9 again after watching his performance against Fulham. Maybe it's harsh on Matt. Maybe that's because he was playing with Matt behind him. If Gruda's playing behind him in that match on the opening day against Fulham, it could have been a different story. We could have seen a Rutter looking more suited to the number 9. So Matt O'Reilly gone, I'm willing to see it more now, especially as we probably don't have as much attacking depth as we thought going into the season. So it fills me with more hope that maybe he can actually be a number 9 option for us. But we talk about the substitutions. 3 of them were involved in the second goal. I think the ball gets cleared. Ayari wins the header, which goes to Matoma, who flicks it onto Ratu, then passes it back to Matoma. Then Matoma's ball through to Gruda. In that moment, Maz, are you thinking this is guaranteed, or are you thinking we've seen this kind of moment for him against Oxford where he refused to use his right foot and takes too much time? This time, he must have listened to the podcast, because we were saying, just shoot with your right foot. And finally he did. He did that. Unbelievable to sit down the goalkeeper and the defender and then flick it onto his right foot and have the confidence to do that. Great finish and one unbelievable goal.
Oh, mate, honestly, the anxiety. Like you said, it was like PTSD from the Oxford game, because you're like, mate, just shoot. What are you doing? Like, you sat down 2 players there. You sat down the goalkeeper, and I think it was a couple of the defenders. Just shoot. And there was one moment as well where he sort of stumbled a little bit, and I was like, oh no, he's going to mess this up. But yeah, then thankfully, and again, instead of going, I think he had the right-hand side of the goal free, and instead he put it across, and I was like, what is going on? But no Lil Wayne, but it all worked out. Let it all work out. Okay. And it did work out. So, it was the composure for, such a young talent to come into the Premier League. You know, again, hasn't started, I don't think, any of the games, so far. To come in, aside from Oxford, obviously, to come in and do what he did against Manchester City, against Trafford, who was doing really well that afternoon, against, you know, some experienced defenders in the likes of John Stones, Ruben Diaz, and, you know, a Man City defence that's, you know, used to be pretty solid. to do that in that moment of that caliber of a game just shows that like he has got that star quality. I know we all knew it, but to do that in that moment was unbelievable composure and fantastic finish. And I was so happy for him because you could see the joy and the elation from his celebration. That I think he just wants to prove that he can do it. He wants to show Hrzler that he can do it, and he's worthy of a starting spot. Which I think now. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't start against Bournemouth. I'll be super shocked.
I don't want to be seeing... I know Gomez is good, but I don't want to be seeing him as a 10, unfortunately. Maybe Gruda behind Welbeck, potentially, but... ideally, you obviously want Welbeck and Rutter, right? Or does then Gruda comes off the bench still, Maz? Like, that's the predicament we've got now.
Yeah, I like Rutter Welbeck. I like that combination. I'll be real. And I don't mind, Welbeck maybe potentially playing 60 minutes and then coming out for the last half hour. And then maybe later down in the season, I think, for the first maybe 10 games, maybe keep it to that sort of tried and trusted of Rutter Welbeck. And then after a while, unless Welbeck, and speaking very honestly here, he hasn't had the best start. Again, could it be fitness issues? Could it be, just purely not finding form yet? But he hasn't been at his best. So you do have to come to a time where you go, right, he's not performing. You're going to have to come out of the team. And I know we'll probably do a Bournemouth preview later down the line, but I just think going into that Bournemouth game, personally, it's a tough one. I probably would still start Welbeck one more time and just see what he can do for the first sort of 60 minutes. And then, have a Gruda or Rutter behind them, and then whoever doesn't start comes on. And then, see what happens from there.
Yeah, I agree. I will bet you even Zimas might come in and take Welbeck.
Well, to have him off the bench. Yeah. You'd like to see that.
Because obviously,
I think
we touched on it earlier.
There'll be no excuse after a week and a half of international break. There's no excuse for them to be up to speed, to be on the bench at least. Not to start, but to be on the bench. I think that's got to be a bare minimum. And also with Riley now leaving. By the way, just quickly, it was so damning for me when I saw that the 4 substitutions came on and he wasn't one of them, and he was like one of the only people on the sideline still with Coppola. I was like, this isn't looking good for you, pal. I think that was the moment where I was like, he's probably going to leave, either on permanent or loan, which he ended up going on.
I'm trying to think our reasoning of starting him in those first 2 games, because is it something that maybe...
It's a good point,
Maybe Hrzler wanted to show Bloom and Barber, look, I want to let him go. I'm going to give him an opportunity at the beginning of the season. If he doesn't produce anything, obviously score the penalty, but you expect a professional footballer to score a penalty. If he doesn't produce anything for us, then he's just not fit for us. And maybe that's some sort of agreement that they had. Maybe Hrzler did think that he was going to work and he didn't work out. What one do you think it is? Do you think it was more just to give him his final opportunity and he didn't take it? Or
I mean, it would be a bit of a weird situation for me if that was his way of thinking. I'm going to stick him in and he's going to be crap. So it's going to show everyone because surely you want to win games. You want to go get off to a good start. So I don't know if that was his thinking.
Managers do that though. You want to hear about managers no,
but that's when they want signings though. That's when they want signings. We got 2 10. We had 2 number 10 options in Rutter and Gruda. I know Rutter was injured for one of them, but I think it's usually they'll use that tactic as when I need signings. It's like a stake to the board, which I get. But in this situation, it's weird that he would go down line. So for me, I think it was generally he thought he was good enough. He gave them the opportunity, and it just didn't work. And clearly, Gruda and Rutter stepped up when they needed to. And I think it sort of just solidified for him in the Man City game. Was like, I think we've got good options there. In Gruda and Rutter, and you're not that guy, basically.
Is it too early to? We're going to get onto transfers especially a lot of the outs from deadline day, and also just the general transfers we've made. Do you think it's too early to label O'Reilly as a failed signing, or do you think there's still hope for him to come back after this loan at Marseille?
Oh, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because the amount of quality we have in that position, I just don't see a way back for him, unfortunately. I think he's going to go out on loan for the season. I think Gruda's going to shine, or Rutter's going to shine in that, number 10. But then, didn't he say his best position is number 8? Is that right? Didn't he say his best position is
I think he preferred
8?
Being as, an 8 or a 10. And obviously, Hrzler was playing him almost as like a winger at some point towards the end of last season. In
my opinion, he's no better than Baleba. He's no better than Ayari. He's no better than Gomez. Well, probably not on par. I just don't see where he fits in. He doesn't fit in the number 8, and he doesn't fit in the number 10 in terms of players being above players, in my opinion. So I just can't see a way back for him, unfortunately. I think he's going to go out on loan and he's going to come back in the summer and we're going to look for a permanent deal for him. I just personally think that's how it's going to pan out, sadly. It didn't work out. You know, we've seen him play a few times now and I agree with Jack. I just don't see what he offers. You know, you look at players and you think, yeah, he offers you that. He gives you that. And I look at O'Reilly and I think, what are you actually contributing to the team?
When we signed him, I thought it
might sound harsh,
this is like a proper Brighton signing. He's going to be class for us. I had such high hopes for him, and obviously he gets injured against Crawley, and you think, oh, that's such a shame because he was one of our star signings last season. So I know we made quite a few, but he was one of the bigger names coming from Celtic, had a good pedigree, and it seemed like he was going to be a perfect fit for us. Chelsea were interested in, we got him in the end. I don't know if it was because of the Dewsbury Hall thing for us missing out on him, or whether we were going to get them both anyway. It's just sad that has not worked out because I had big hopes for him. But yeah, we will get into the rest of the transfers. I just want to finish up on the game. Maz, that's 2 wins and a draw against Pep for Hrzler. Is that a credit to Fabian being a good manager, or have we just played City at the right times?
Great question. You know what? Funny enough, I got asked this. One of the overlap, don't want to brag, but you can check that out. The overlap. No, funny enough, I actually got asked about this. Jamie Carragher actually asked the same question, Ben, so well done. You can take his job.
Get me on Sky.
No, he asked the same question. He was like, you know, what are your thoughts on Fabian? And I was like, yeah, like I think he showed, especially against the games in City, he looks like he's got Pep's number. 4 points last season, obviously 3 points this season. And I don't know if it was like a tactical masterclass. I don't know but the substitutions obviously was a huge impact on the game, and he got that spot on. So you got to give him big credit there. So yeah, with Fabian, the jury's still out. I still want to see a little bit more from him. I still want to see maybe like that first half for me was just not acceptable. And I think I think a big contributing factor is Hrzler. He picks the team. You know, he picks the players where they play. And I think that was sort of down to that. So I'm a big fan of Hrzler. I back him all the way. I want him to do really, really well. And I think he will do well. I just want him to show a bit more. I think he just needs to really, like, time is now. So how much longer are we going to say, oh yeah, Hrzler, yeah, you know, he looks like a great manager, but is he?
Wears great outfits.
See that? Yeah. Oh mate, that was so funny. Yeah. That post done really well.
Who did he get compared to? He got compared to some like Asian general. I don't know if you saw that. It went mad viral online.
Yeah. Is it the North Korean?
Maybe.
Yeah.
No, not the current one. No, like someone from like World War One or even further back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, his outfit was a Boohoo Man special, wasn't it?
It was.
I thought everyone was bantering him, but I thought he looked quite fresh, to be honest. I was looking at him on the sideline. I was like, you look pretty cool.
Nice two-piece.
Yeah. But I just want to see a little bit more from Hrzler. A cohort, yeah, a nice Boohoo cohort. But yeah, I just want to see a bit more from him. I just want to see just more consistency. You know, we obviously had not poor games. First one was quite unlucky. Everton, I think a lot of us expected us to lose in the first game at their new stadium. So maybe he's just had a tough start of the season, and we're now going to see him really, hopefully this week, you know, international break now gets him to really hammer home his points, and we're going to see the best of Brighton after the international break.
Any more from the game, or should we go into the transfers?
No, I think just to summarise, great win, huge win, needed it in the grand scheme of things. In the first 3 games, not having 3 points on the board was huge. And against Man City, I know potentially you could call them a struggling Man City, but still was a big statement win against some top quality players. Rodri was back as well, who I thought actually looked quite tidy on the ball. Maybe not out of possession, maybe not so much, still adapting, getting better. But I thought, you know, against a good City side, big win. And yeah, well done the boys, up the boys. Hopefully we can do well after.
Sounds like a joke. Let's go on to the transfers then. Obviously, one last thing on Matt O'Reilly. Sorry, I'm laughing. One last thing on Matt O'Reilly. That's the ploy.
Composure.
Composure. One last thing on Matt O'Reilly, and then I'll mute myself. He's joining Serbi's Marseille. Would that be such a kick in the teeth to Brighton if De Zerbi can get the best out of Matt O'Reilly and becomes an unbelievable player?
No, I think with with that, obviously it's an interesting move for O'Reilly. I think he'll suit the French league, a little bit of a slower pace. He could probably show his best abilities in the French league. But I mean, if he does well for Marseille, cool. It doesn't affect us really, does it? Like, we're not playing them in Europe or anything, or really doesn't really affect us. If anything, if he does well, it will just increase his price tag. So yeah, I wish him all the best. I hope he does well. If he does well, cool. Deserby can claim credit if he wants. But yeah, it doesn't really bother me, to be honest. Hope he does well.
I think he will do. Price. It will bump up the price, yeah. And then more teams in Europe are going to come and try and sign him.
I think he's going to be more suited to Liga than he is the Premier League. I think the Premier League, he's just not cut out for the Premier League, sadly.
No, agree. And then Julio Cisse does finally get his move. Obviously, it was cancelled to Blueco or to Strasbourg. Like, is he joined Strasbourg or is he joined Blueco now? It's just so confusing. Essentially, he's joined Chelsea along with all of our other players on deadline day.
I think he's at Strasbourg this season, and then he's going to Chelsea next season. Apparently, that's the rumours.
Jesus Christ. They've signed. There was a picture that circulated, actually done big numbers as well. It's not often that Brighton memes do big numbers, but I think there's a picture of Barco, Facundo, and Ciso on the Amex pitch, and someone put as if they've actually signed all of them. You can't make this up, and then it's just more confused. I get in Ciso. I think it's a good move for Strasbourg, but for Blueco, I don't get it, because just like, where's he going to fit if he does end up going to Chelsea? If it's rumoured next season, it's just, where does he play? I think some people made quite a good point of Enciso. Like, we loved him at the club, but I think his ego is bigger than his actual ability. He had such potential, and I think his ego probably got the better of him. I mean, I know the South Americans like to look good, but all the different trims and that sort of thing, it's just, when you're good, that's fine. But when you're concentrating on how you look more than your actual football ability, and just shows that you kind of maybe don't have the right attitude to be, at least at Brighton Hove Albion, you can have the stinking attitude and play for Chelsea, because every player at Chelsea's got a stinking attitude, essentially. And then, so yeah, I don't know, I want to get your thoughts on that one. Mainly just him joining Blueco and then another player essentially joining that horrendous establishment.
Yeah, the game's gone, mate. Like, having a company buy a player and then doing a kit reveal where it's like Strasbourg and Chelsea half and half. I'm like, the game's gone, mate. The game is absolutely gone. But yeah, I'm not a fan of it at all. I think it's just ridiculous. It's a good transfer. I agree with you. I think it's a good transfer in Ciso. Again, wish him all the luck. Hope he does well. Obviously not against us if he ever plays against us again. But yeah, I don't ever have unless they've left in a really horrible way, I don't really have much bad feelings towards players like that.
No.
And I don't think he's done anything wrong, in terms of the way he left. I think he had his moments where he was acting like a bit of a petulant child at times and posting stuff on social media and stuff, but again, could just be immaturity. But yeah, I don't hold a grudge against him. I hope he does well in his career. Just hope he doesn't come back and bite us in the arse. That, I think it was a fee 20 million.
Is it?
I think it was around, I think 17, 20 million, something like that. Which, again, down the line, could that be a massive howler? Could that he then turn into a £100 million player and we've sold him for 20 million? Still 20 million at this point. You could argue that's quite a good fee. But yeah, that's my only concern, is that, down the line, does he become a £100 million player and we've sold him on the cheap? But, we don't have a crystal ball. So
we don't. And then I guess you can kind of connect these two transfers. If the rumours are true that Ciso will be joining Chelsea next season, they then filled that gap. I don't know what gap they've got in their squad. Well, the reason why they needed Facundo Buonanotte, they obviously feel like they don't have enough options in the wing or at centre attack and mid at Chelsea, which is completely mental, because I don't understand why Buonanotte's gone there. If he's good enough for Chelsea, then he should be good enough for Brighton Hove Albion to be battling with Gruda, especially with O'Reilly going. It's just mind-boggling why we've let him go to Chelsea, why Chelsea think they need him as well. We get a £2 million loan fee, but that's pennies compared to the amount of money they have paid us over the past few seasons. Yeah. Maz, what the hell is that transfer all about? It's like a loan as well. Genuinely,
I think you've took the words straight out of my mouth. It was the most bamboozling, baffling transfer I've ever seen in my life. What are the benefits? It doesn't benefit the player, because, like you say, he's not going to play. So there's no benefit to him developing and getting better. He's linked with Leeds. I thought that would have been a great move for him. Probably going to start a lot of games. He's going to develop, get better, get the exposure.
Was the Leeds one just going to be a loan, or was it going to be a perm?
Yeah, loan.
Oh, okay, good, fine.
Yeah, and then so from a playing perspective, makes zero sense. Then from a transfer perspective, is as in our dealings with Chelsea. is it like a gentleman's agreement that's not been put in paper? Because I know there's no obligation to buy, or there's no, like, there's nothing sort of after the loan. Has there been an unofficial agreement between the clubs saying that he's going to become a homegrown player by the end of the season, which hugely benefits clubs massively, to hit that homegrown quota? And then we're going to sell him to you, but we'd like the option of not confirming that now. Does that make sense? As in, we don't want to put that in the writing now that there's an obligation to buy, but it'll give us a bit more bargaining power maybe at the end of the season, where we'll be like, all right, he's homegrown now. That can bump us up to an extra 20 million or whatever it is.
That will be
so.
huge.
Yeah, I don't get it at all. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like you said, keep him at the club, have some competition for Gruda potentially. Because, like you say, if Rutter's looked at number 9 now, you'll then have Rutter and Welbeck being the options up top. Then you have Gruda and Buonanotte as the number 10s. And that's really healthy competition going into the season. Whereas, like you say, if he's good enough to be a Chelsea squad player, why is he not good enough to be a Brighton squad player? Does Hrzler not rate him? That's probably the biggest question mark.
I'd like to think that the club and Hrzler do rate him. Because if they didn't, then it would have been a permanent, right? So they obviously think that he still has a chance of breaking into this first team, like us Brighton fans do as well. So I'm glad it seems like the fans in the club are aligned in that aspect. But just any club but Chelsea, like you said, Maz, if he went to Leeds, he would have been starting, like he did for Leicester. He would have been starting week in, week out, but it would have been great, even more great experience for him. Now he's just going to go to Chelsea with a bunch of toxic players at a toxic club, and hopefully he's not going to bring that toxic personality and attributes back to us, because then it's just pointless and we should have just sold him in the first place. So, it's not ideal. Not happy with that at all.
And also, just quickly, if he doesn't play, his stocks are going to go down. So we're not even going to, like, if we want to sell him next season, we're not even going to, like, he's not going to be a very valuable asset. So it's just bizarre all round, just to summarise. It's mental.
A player that we actually got from Chelsea, Tariq Lamptey, finally left. It's actually very sad seeing Lamptey go. 5.2 mil from Fiorentina, which is decent returns considering we got him for less than $1 million, which was still one of the best transfers ever, despite his injuries, his injury record, and the amount of minutes he played for us. But when he did play, he was always good. I can't really remember too many games. He obviously did have one, or maybe a few bad games, but when I think of Lamptey, I don't think of bad times. I only think of good times with him, especially lockdown Lamptey. But even after lockdown, Maz, he offered us a lot.
Yeah, 100%. Like you say, it's a sad time to see Lamptey go. Obviously, a really likeable character, always done his best when he's on the pitch. And a really explosive, exciting player on his day. But sadly, just too many injuries absolutely killed him. And it's a shame to see how his career did pan out in the end. But yeah, wish him all the best. I hope he does really well in Fiorentina. I think he will. Again, talking like the Italian league, French league, all those, European leagues, sometimes players just do adapt really well to them. So I think he'll do well there. Wish him all the best. I think he's such a great guy. He's just such a lovable character, wasn't he? So yeah, sad to see him go. However, what I was a bit sort of confused about, and I thought there was a bit of a slim hope, and I knew deep down it wasn't going to happen, but I thought with him going out, we were going to get a right back, which we've been screaming out for, for weeks and months and years.
Especially as Hrzler teased it, didn't he? Hrzler teased that we potentially was going to be another signing on deadline day. Apparently, and I thought conference before the City game.
And I thought Lamptey, okay, he's on his way out. Does that mean a right back's going to come in? Because now all we've got really is Joel Veltman at right back. So it's like, if he gets injured, which, I mean, with his track record looks quite likely, is Weath going to have to go in there again? Is Hinshaw going to have to play there again? It's like, why have we not got an out and out right back? Like, it's just mental to me. But yeah, sadly that didn't come through the door. And that was my only sort of annoyance with that, is the fact that we let go of a right back but didn't replace them. So yeah, confusing.
Couple more bits of Lamptey. Scored some worldies for us. More recently, Leicester away last season, he scored that absolute worldie with his left foot. I feel like he scored a similar goal to that. He scored a brilliant goal against Aston Villa away when we got a point away from them. Yeah. And kind of, I think this might have 10 minutes to go. I remember he scored like a one from really far out. I can't remember who else it was against. It was similar, just outside the box, and just whipped it in, and I can't remember who it was against, but yeah, he scored some big goals for us. Remember that time he was linked with Bayern Munich, and we thought, oh God, they're going to be an absolute machine if they had Lamptey on the right back and Alphonso Davies left back. That would have been a FIFA player's dream. Would have been my dream. But obviously that didn't happen. But that just shows like the levels that Lamptey did reach at Brighton. Yeah, he was a phenomenal player for us. What an absolute bargain. Great memories. And it's just a shame it didn't really work out, especially with injuries, because he could have been a Brighton legend. So yeah, Lamptey, sad to see you go, but yeah, obviously hope you smash it in Serie A. And there's no doubt, I think, mate, he's 24 years old. If he can get some minutes under his belt, forget about these injuries, this injury crisis that he seems to get himself in quite consistently. If he can fix that, then I've no doubt that we can see him back in the Premier League at some point.
Great.
Yeah, I can see that written in the stars. Probably the next one, Igor, probably the spiciest transfer, apart from Isak maybe, but the spiciest transfer saga from deadline day. No one saw this one coming, really. I didn't expect him to leave. I didn't expect him to be linked with Crystal Palace, Maz. When we got that, our group chat was, we were up in arms. That was absolutely outrageous. And then I saw a graphic from Fabrizio of him in the Crystal Palace shirt doing this. Obviously, it's a graphic.
Yeah, here we go.
Here we go. Fabrizio's finished, mate. What the hell, Maz? But why are we doing business with Crystal Palace? I don't think we've done business with them since Stephen Dobby, which is a long time ago. I think Parish and Bloom seem to have quite a good relationship outside of football. Fine, but why are Crystal Palace coming to us to help them with their centre back issues? Surely there's enough players out there that are available. My only thing, when I chatted to our mate Chris Byfield, as Crystal Palace fans, and he was asking me how good is he, I was saying he's okay. He has his moments. Can play centre back, left back. When we got him, was mainly just to get some European experience, because he won the Conference League with Fiorentina a few seasons ago. So that was probably their thinking.
They lost. They lost
West Ham. Before West Ham, they won it the season before, right? I think.
Oh, did they?
They might have. I mean, I could.
He did get bullied by Bowen though in the finals. So.
Yeah, well, there you go. But okay, even if they haven't, I'm pretty sure they won. I'm pretty sure he won under them when Fiorentina won it. But maybe if not, yeah, because they were going to win it back to back. Yeah, Maz, hopefully you're googling it. So then it looks like he's going to Crystal Palace. Both fans don't want it to happen. Palace fans don't want it to happen, because then it means that Gay's going. Gay doesn't end up going because Glasner said if Gay goes, I go. I don't know if you saw the Gay the Gay transfer. Well, no, his farewell video got leaked.
Yeah,
but they actually filmed a farewell video. So it was all looked like it was going to happen, and then they pulled the plug on it. Mental as a Palace fan to have that as your deadline day drama. Obviously, they probably thought if Glasner goes, then they are screwed. Maybe they've lost a few stars. They just got a great result against Aston Villa. He's probably their only hope with Eze going, and if Gay goes, then it wouldn't have been a good season. So it's a weird one. I think Eagle will somehow become a Crystal Palace legend because it's meant that Mark Gay hasn't gone.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. So I remember when it all kicked off, I remember messaging you and Jack about it, and I was like, if for me, the sort of the way I look at it, I spun it in the positive, and I get the outrage, and you never want to help your rivals get better, essentially. But the way I looked at it was, we're giving him our fifth choice centre back to then hopefully open the door for then Gahey to leave. So if anything, we were actually enabling them to become weaker, really, in theory. I know obviously Gahey ended up staying, and I think Jack made a point of like, well, if Gahey does stay and we do give them Igor, then we are strengthening them, which is fair. But in the end, neither of them happened. So Igor didn't end up going to Palace and Gahey didn't end up leaving. So yeah, I tried to look at it in a more positive way of like, we're essentially helping them get rid of their best defender if Igor does go. But no, I do get it. I do get the sentiment around like, you shouldn't really help improve your rivals. And it's a bit of it's one of those things that fans don't want to see, and I completely get it. But unfortunately nowadays, it is a business. It is if you want to offload a player, if you want to sell a player, or if you want to loan a player and get them match time, you will give them to whoever wants them. Do you know what I mean? So like, if there wasn't much interest, maybe West Ham came in late about their interest, and maybe they're like, oh, actually, okay, cool. We don't, the sack of Palace and go to West Ham. I don't know how it all panned out, how it transpired, but yeah, maybe there was just the only team interested was Palace, and Brighton were like, well, he needs to go out on loan, so we have to do business dealing with him. So yeah,
I think Igor's reasoning is that he wanted to work under Graham Potter because of his Premier League experience. which is interesting considering how his recent Premier League experience has been pretty dreadful at West Ham and Chelsea. So.
Well, maybe he saw West Ham beat Forest 3-0 and we're like, yeah, I'm going to go there. Even though Palace also won 3-0. So, yeah, interesting one. But in the end, it was a non-story because Gay didn't leave and Igor didn't join Palace. So, there you go.
ChatGPT says here that, I mean, I didn't follow too much of the deadline day towards the end of the evening. But apparently he also pulled out because he was concerned about the game time at Palace. I think Palace also signed other central defenders, right? Someone called Canvot. I've never heard of him. Where's he from? Do you know?
Yeah, French, I think.
I could have guessed that by the name, but I don't know what club. Do we know?
Oh, no, I don't know what club, no.
Oh, okay, fair. All right. So, yeah, Igor, good luck to you, mate. It'll be funny because see how he does at West Ham under Graham Potter. He's now been managed by all three of Brighton's recent managers, so that's an interesting one for Brighton fans. Let's rank some other incomings for the club. Yeah. Let's start off, Tommy. We'll do this rattle us through because I think we've both got stuff we've got to crack on with. Big list, a lot of outgoing, so earned a pretty penny this summer, which is good. Immediately, João Pedro, Maz.
Obviously not happy with it. We'll rank it. We'll do like from an outgoing perspective. We'll say miss them or not miss them. So I think I think we have to say we will miss him. You know, sadly, he is a top quality player. He's obviously shown at Chelsea he can do it. It looks like, but for the fee that we got, 60 million, potentially could have got more. I think that's my only sort of negative with that one. I think, any player, we need to keep our best players, and he was one of them. So, it's a shame, but it is what it is. And we've got 60 million out of it, I suppose.
Yeah, true. I agree. Yeah, we will miss him. He's an unbelievable start there as well. And I mean, I went on record by saying I prefer him in a 10, but he seems to be doing a pretty good job as a number 9 for Chelsea at the moment. So I'm eating my words or eating my hat, as they say. Next one, Simon Adingra to Sunderland. Yeah.
I know he got an assist in his game before last or whatever it was.
Didn't start the last game, I don't think, either.
No, he didn't, no. So, to summarise, wish him all the best. But I'm still not too upset that he left. And we got a good fee for him. And we've got lots of options. We say we've got lots of options. We don't have that many options in the wide areas now. But, I'm not too upset we let him go. I think he just didn't do enough whilst in a Brighton shirt.
Yeah, I agree. He will not be missed. Purvis says to Pignan to AC Milan.
Fantastic player. I think it would have been great to have him for squad depth. However, he never would have settled for that. So I completely get why he wanted to leave. Big club in AC Milan as well. I think we got quite a decent fee. Was it 20 million roughly, I think, for Purvis?
17, I think it's reported here.
Yeah, 17, 20 million. Yeah, you'll take that. Sad to see him go, but it was one of those transfers that I think it was inevitable. It was going to happen at some point.
Mm-hmm. I agree. He won't be missed, but good luck to Purvis. It was a good move for him. Valentin Bargo to Strasbourg. I mean, I guess that was kind of already done because in January he actually joined with the obligation. I think it's actually an obligation to join them, so we could skip that one. It was a shame that didn't work out, but it sounds like it was an attitude issue.
Most signed wonder kid. Never got to see him play. Really?
Yeah, brilliant.
We're sorry, brilliant.
Incredible that the most signed wonder kid doesn't work out at Brighton, which I thought would have been a match made in heaven, really, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Abdullah Sima, finally gone. Not on loan. He's actually gone to Lons on an undisclosed fee. That's never really worked out for him either.
I thought it was something like 2 million or something, which is mental.
Jesus.
But it was a shame we never got to see him play. I thought it was really harsh that he never, even in his first couple of games, we were crying out for a striker on the bench. He didn't even get to be put on the bench. But clearly, Hrzler didn't rate him, didn't think he was good enough. So looks like, he won't be missed, unfortunately.
What have we got here? Oh, we got that Romanian fella, Mazilu, finally left. That didn't really work out. Yeah. We can probably just skip over
is he on a perm?
That went, undisclosed on a perm to, where's that to? Dynamo Bucharest.
What?
He's gone back to Romania. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so we covered, Lamptey we've covered. So those are the outgoings, to be fair. Quite a few loans. You got Carl Rushworth going out on loan. Kozo Dubry looks like he's cooking at Bolton. I don't know if he's scored quite a few bangers recently.
Yeah. I've seen him. Yeah, I've seen a few of his highlights. He's looking good. So hopefully he carries it on.
Sherpin and Offey also went out on loan as well. Cashin, of course. Mark O'Mahony, who was on loan at Portsmouth last year as well, has gone.
Yeah.
Kamari Doyle, Mullins, and there's a few.
He looks good, Doyle. Yeah.
Yeah, he does look decent. And let's go into the incomings, the fun part.
Yes.
We haven't seen many of them, have we, Maz? That's been a topic of
limited.
the past 4 weeks. Limited time with these guys, but we'll try and get through. We've got, Tom Watson from Sunderland. What have you made of him? Because obviously he scored a belt against Oxford, but we still haven't seen him in the Prem.
Jury's still out. I think obviously we haven't seen much of him. I think he will be a hit. Purely, I've seen enough quality, that final, big final for Sunderland last season, scoring the winner in that. So, huge moment. Obviously scored a fantastic goal against Oxford, but the big litmus test, of course, is how he fares in the Premier League. So we need to see him still perform, but jury's still out, but I think he'll be a hit. That's my prediction.
I think we could probably say, just copy and paste that answer for the Greek lads as well, right? Or was there anything else you would have for Barbas and Simas?
No, pretty much exactly the same. Again, Oxford, respectfully, isn't probably like the barometer of like how well they'll do. I actually quite agree with a lot of what Hrzler was saying about, them still having to, keep, get up to speed in terms of the Premier League. It's a very different situation, Oxford United away, when you're playing the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, City, all those kind of teams. So yeah, same thing. Jury's still out, but I think Simas will be a hit. I'm going to keep jury still out on Kostoulas because I haven't seen enough of him yet.
I'm going to end on the one that I'm probably more questionable on now, but we'll go to Boscagli next. Free transfer from PSV.
Yeah. Again, not seen enough of him apart from the Oxford United game. Jury's still out. I'm just going to leave it at that. I think I just haven't seen enough of him. Again, just one game against Oxford United is tough to really...
Which he was incredible in, though.
Yeah, incredible. I'm not sure about incredible, but yeah. I mean, he's also got the calibre. He's got the calibre. I think he can adapt. It's just whether can he adapt to the Premier League? That's the big question because it's a very different pace, very different environment, very different... Yeah, just so different to the Eredivisie, isn't it, the Premier League? So, jury's still out for me.
And lastly, I've got Maxime de Kuyper, who I was probably most intrigued to see this season. And yeah, we saw him. We've seen him start each game.
Yeah.
The first game against Fulham, he looked hit. He will be a hit. Did he look a bit off it in the last two games against Everton and City? Would that be unfair to say?
I think that's unfair. I thought he had a good game against City. I thought he played well.
Yeah.
I thought he,
maybe more Everton then.
Yeah. I mean, look, again, 3 games in, you've come from, Club Brugge in the Belgian league. Respectfully, that's a big step up. So you're still adapting. You're still getting your whereabouts correctly. And like, it's a tough place to adapt. So I think from what I've seen, I think he's shown enough for me to be like, yeah, he's got great delivery. Defensively, he's actually better than I thought he was. Okay. And going forward, he's a great option. So yeah, I think he's going to be a hit. From what I've seen, from his first 3 games, I think I'm going to say hit.
Good. I'll agree and say a hit. I'll agree.
And Coppola as well. Finally, Coppola.
Of course, yeah. Skipped over Coppola, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he'll be a hit. I think he shows promise. And again, we've only really seen him against Oxford, but I thought he was good. Had a couple shaky.
And came on against City.
Shaky out. They came on against City. Saw the game through. I guess you could say. Exactly. So that's another box ticked for Coppola.
And I think he's physically he's an absolute unit. Like, looks quite quick for his size. Very good in the air. I think he's got the profile to be a fantastic defender in the Premier League. Again, super young, so it just needs time to develop, time to bed in, and I think he'll become really good. I've got high hopes for Coppola.
We'll have another hit for him as well. I don't think I've missed anyone else really.
No, that's it.
No. We got Yundu Young, but obviously he went straight out on loan, so we don't really know. Yeah. You said he scored on the weekend.
I know he scored. Yeah, he scored a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. We'll see. Hopefully, when we signed our last person from that area of the world, Mitome went out on loan, came back as an absolute superstar. So, fingers crossed it'll be the same for him. All right, I think we've covered everything. I've got another call in about 10 minutes, so that's class. Anything else, Maz, from your end?
No. There you go. Big win against City. Decent transfer window, I suppose. Actually, quickly, how are we going to rank the transfer window? Or are we ranking out of 10? Yeah.
I'm gonna say a 6.5, maybe a 6.
Ooh, why? What could have been better?
Right back situation. Maybe the sales of some of certain players, maybe the fees as well. Yeah, and also just the questionable outgoings. Constantly dealing with Beluco. I know they give us money, but sometimes it's like, just leave us alone. We've got money now. We don't need you. Just send Facundo to Leeds. Why are you giving him to Chelsea? Just does not make sense. Does not. If it's a loan fee, that's the difference between Leeds and Chelsea. What's 500k? What's $1 million in Brighton's season really? When it's down to a player's game time, I can't imagine we're going to have pie on our face or whatever the saying is. It's not like Facundo's suddenly going to be starting for Chelsea. So just questionable outgoings. And yeah, questionable why we still haven't got a right back. We've still got Matt Sweeper playing the first 2 games. Yeah, but what about
Facts. Yeah, no, I think you've hit the nail on the head there, to be fair. I'm going to give it slightly a better score. I'm going to go 0.5 more, 7. I'm going to go 7 out of 10. And for me, like, improving the defensive areas, obviously bringing in Coppola, Buscagli, De Kuyper, I thought that was really key. I thought that was great. But I agree with you, right back should have been number 1 priority. And then also as well, got to give credit to keeping Baleba. I thought that was quite a big statement. That was obviously that's why I've increased my point a little bit more. But then I also agree with you. Yeah, some of the outgoings have been a bit bizarre, a bit strange. You could question, could have they done more to keep Jack Pedro? Probably not, but could that have been something they looked at? Yeah, Bonanotte going out was very strange, and Ciso as well. So yeah, 7 out of 10. I don't think it was a terrible window. I don't think it was an amazing window. So yeah, 7, maybe 7.5 if I'm being generous.
Cool. All right then. Yeah, unbelievable. Like I said, great win. It makes the season look a lot better. Getting some points on the board. You could say the points that we missed out on Fulham, maybe we've got them from the City game. And if you said 4 points from the first 3, you might say, that's a decent start considering the teams we played. The Everton occasion, who looked good against Wolves. Fulham looked pretty decent as well. So maybe these are teams that we will be in and around this season. So we've ticking them off already. And Bournemouth, then we've got Wolves and United. So we could be picking up some points in September, October time. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the games, giving me a lot more hope now that we've seen that what we can do when we have options on the bench and how good we can be then. So yeah, a lot of hope for the future after the international break. So thank you for listening. Please subscribe. Give us the reviews on Spotify and Apple, and we'll catch you. We'll catch you before the Bournemouth game.
Oh, it's international break now.
Yeah, enjoy the international break. I say enjoy with inverted commas if you are listening, because it's
we'll try and do a few lives as well, just to basically tide time over. If there's anything you want us to discuss, again, we always ask you for suggestions, so put it in the comments down below. Let us know what kind of videos you want to see us do in international break, because obviously there's not much content. So yeah, let us know if there's anything you want us to do, and we'll try and get it done for you.
Exactly that. Right. Peace and love.
Peace.